There was once a man named Elias who lived in a quiet, small town. For most of his life, Elias followed the same routine. Wake up, go to work, come home, sleep, and repeat. He didn't mind the simplicity. In fact, he told himself it was fine, safe, predictable, but deep down, he knew there was something missing. You see, Elias had dreams, big dreams. When he was young, he had visions of becoming an inventor, of creating things that would change the world. But as he grew older, life got in the way. He told himself he would get to it later, after the bills were paid, after the responsibilities were met, after everyone else's expectations were satisfied. But later never came. One evening, after another long, uneventful day, Elias sat on his porch, watching the sunset. A neighbor walked by, an old man with a noticeable limp. Elias had seen him every day for years, but had never spoken more than a few words. This time, though, something was different. The old man paused, looked at Elias, and smiled. "You ever wonder why you're here, son?" he asked. Elias, taken aback, shrugged. "I guess I'm here to live my life, like everyone else," he said, unsure of where the conversation was heading. The old man chuckled softly and leaned on his cane. "Let me tell you a story," he began. "When I was your age, I was just like you, comfortable, safe. But one day, I met a traveler passing through town. He told me about all the places he had seen, the people he had met, and the adventures he had lived. I asked him what made him so different from the rest of us. What gave him the courage to leave everything behind and explore the unknown?" The old man's eyes gleamed as he recalled the moment. The traveler said something I'll never forget. He said, "The graveyard is the richest place on earth. It's where all the dreams, inventions, ideas, and passions that were never pursued are buried. Don't let your dreams die there." Elias felt a chill run down his spine. "For years, I carried that sentence with me," the old man continued, "but I ignored it. I stayed safe, just like you. Then one day, I realized I had run out of time. That traveler's words haunted me. I had so many ideas, so many things I wanted to do, but I never took a single step toward them. And now, all I have are memories of what could have been." Elias sat in stunned silence. The weight of the old man's words crushed him. He had spent his life waiting for the perfect moment, waiting for things to align, waiting for someone else to give him permission to pursue his dreams. But he knew, just like the old man, the moment never comes, unless you create it. "Don't wait too long, son," the old man said softly, before limping away. Elias sat there long after the sun had set. The sky was now a blanket of stars. He thought about the invention ideas he had as a kid, the passions he had set aside. He thought about the years he had spent watching the world go by, telling himself he'd start tomorrow. But tomorrow was always just out of reach. The next morning, Elias did something he hadn't done in years. He took out a notebook, one he hadn't touched since he was a teenager, and began to write. He wrote down every idea, every invention, every dream that had ever crossed his mind. And then, he made a decision, a promise to himself. He would no longer wait for the right time, the perfect circumstances, or anyone's approval. He would start now, and he wouldn't stop until he had given every ounce of himself to his dreams. Elias knew the road ahead wouldn't be easy, but he also knew that living with regret was far worse. The old man's words echoed in his mind. "Don't let your dreams die in the graveyard." And from that day on, Elias woke up every morning with a fire in his heart, determined to leave nothing behind, except a legacy of boldness and courage. Because the only thing worse than failure is never trying at all.